Hello and welcome to my video. First of all, apologies, it's been a while since I uploaded anything, but I recently spent a spell in hospital due to my heart problem. But enough about that, let's move on. This painting today is going to be similar to this one. This is, I don't think it's the last picture I uploaded, but definitely one from not long ago. It's funny how you lose track of time. Right, so this one today, just so you know, it's 80 centimetres that way, 40 that way, which is as near as damn it, 31.5 inches by 15 3/4. This is 5mm thick plywood, 3 coats of gesso, sanding between each coat. And what I thought I'd do is something sort of similar, a painting of nothing. I'm sort of into painting nothings at the moment. So I'm just going to sort of make it up as I go along. And it's not, you know, it's not like, well, first of all, I don't know what I'm going to paint. That's, I suppose, quite a valid point to make, or an important point to make, but it's just going to be whatever happens, and it's, I suppose, leaning towards abstract landscape. And before, as I start painting here, I just want to tell you a couple of things, because I do get asked a lot of questions, and lately I haven't been replying to some of them because I haven't actually been well enough. But anyway, I'm on my feet again, and the amount of oil I use, I don't know. Usual comment from me, and that is that as long as it doesn't drip, that's the right mix, and as long as it doesn't, it's not too translucent. As you can see, you know, this is coming over quite a good solid blue, and this is actually royal blue. And I'm going to just sort of start fooling around with it straight away. I love that word, you know, fooling around with paint. It's sort of what are we going to do? Let's have let's just make some shapes. So I'm going to paint nothing. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Just going to paint nothing. So I'm going to paint you a picture of absolutely nothing, which to you will appear to look like something. And I'm using royal blue, bit of white. That's a bit of white in with the royal blue there, just sort of, just to get an effect, really. I must say that the painting I did of nothing, my tape measure banging around there. The painting that I did of nothing is doing quite well. I think it's about 57, somewhere around there, 57,000 views. Now, that's for, you know, for some people that's not much, but considering that it's just shapes, whatever you see in it is the business of the viewer. Nothing to do with me, all I'm doing is applying paint. So keep this in mind. If I can do that, guess who else can do it? And I know you guessed right, it's you, isn't it? You can do it. Because that's all I'm doing, look. I'm wiggling my arm around, wiggling it around. But I'm not just wiggling it, obviously, I've got a brush in my hand, right? So there you go. There's a sky, without actually painting a sky. Whoops. And let's try and make it a little bit more interesting. I mean, it's all very blue at the moment, isn't it? Let's have a little bit of a something there, and let's have a something here, and let's have a little something just there. There we go. Scrub it in. All we want to do is get coverage. We just want to cover the board with something that I can make unbelievably fascinating and interesting. That's the idea anyway. Now, same brush all the way through. I haven't wiped it. All I've done now is just add a little bit more white. So I think we'll have that just there. And only use it until it loses its strength. Okay, so it's got a nice bit of contrast. Once it sort of blends in too much, once this becomes contaminated with all the other colours, then you want to actually have a little rethink. So let's just have a little bit there. Why not? And then let's just shove this over here. Let's just smear what is already there. And lo and behold, there we are. There's a sky starting to appear without even painting a sky. Okay, so we've got a bit of land now below the sky. I'm in one of those silly logical moods, you know, so I'm going to state the obvious. So let's have a little bit of a land effect. Sap green, light green, red ochre. Do I want red ochre in it yet? Why not? It's on the palette, so I might as well use it. There we are. That helps you with the decision making, doesn't it? Put the paint on the palette and think to yourself, well, actually, maybe I will use that because it's there, and it'd be a shame to waste it, wouldn't it? So let's have a hill here with some interesting shapes in it. Ah, there's that word again. I've been thinking to myself, I've got to stop using that word. Interesting. There used to be, well, there probably still is. He's still around, I think. There was a famous snooker player in England called Steve Davies. No relation. Steve Davies. And apparently he used to use the word interesting a lot. And people started to take the mickey out of him, you know, make fun of him, saying Steve Interesting Davies. So I think I don't want that to happen to me. So I'm going to, you know, as I think I said in several videos, I'm going to try not to actually say whether something is interesting or not, because it'll catch, you know. Once these things get you, you never get rid of them. So I think I'd rather be Stuart Intriguing. Stuart Intriguing. That's a mouthful. Stuart Intriguing Davies. And because the other one's taken, you know, I'd rather have a new name. Let's get some brown down here. Why not? Let's put a bit of brown. As soon as I see something interesting, you see, I'll stop and make something out of it. Let's have a wipe here. And there. And let's have a little wipe here too. I don't want to be too figurative, you see. Now, I know it's a landscape. It's pretty obvious it's a landscape. It's hard to deny it, really. It's a scape with land in it. Excuse all the noises going on here. I'm trying to do what I should have done at the beginning of the video, and that is get my bits of paper all torn up, because I know it makes a horrible sound, so I might just cut this bit. Right, there we are. We've got all these chopped up. Now then, I want to make the landscape do something. Now, I don't know what I want it to do other than have an effect on the viewer. Let's think of it that way. An effect on the viewer would be desirable. So let's just push some of this into the sky. Don't worry about the contour of the landscape. These things are easily fixed. Just make it interesting. So what over here might make that interesting? Maybe a misty effect there, and a bit of a sort of blur here, with perhaps a strong bit of green there. Just why not? what I want you to do when you paint this, tell you what, I'll do a deal with you. You want to learn to paint? Join my group. Go on Facebook, if you can get on Facebook. Not everybody has a Facebook account, and I totally understand why. But if you go on Facebook, there's a group called Stewarts of Stuart Davies. And if you join that, you can actually upload paintings. And as soon as I can get myself totally back in gear, I'll give you a little critique if you want. Not everybody wants it, but you know, I'll comment on your stuff. It's a nice group. Everyone's very friendly. We don't do rude. We don't do sarcastic. Anyone caught doing anything of that rubbish gets booted off. We also don't go on there to try and sell NFTs. Anyone on my group who starts trying to sell NFTs, and if you don't know what an NFT is, have a look on the internet. It actually means non-fungible token. This is some kind of digital thing where people sell digital images that cannot be duplicated. And if it's done properly, I think it's fine. But it seems that every NFT person that I've come in contact with, and I'm talking everyone in the last, I don't know how many years it's been going, but is it 5 years, maybe 5 or 6 years? They've all been con artists, and I'm not interested. Who wants to be conned? You know, if it sounds too good to be true, guess what? It's too good to be true. So don't fall for it. It's a scam generally. If you are going to do it, be very careful about who you trust. Okay, so here's some more shapes going into the landscape, which I'm hoping will turn out to be interesting. Yeah, if you want to do what I'm doing, join the group. I'll put a link below so you can take a look, and if you like it, please join. If I can't give you any critique, I mean, I'll do my best, but you know, at the moment my health is occupying a lot of my time. Actually, I'll tell you, it's taken me, I don't know when I came out of hospital, but I think it's probably 2 weeks ago. I've tried to paint several times and I haven't managed it. I just couldn't function well enough. Let's have some white on the landscape there. Why not? I come from an area of England where there were lots of chalk pits. Not saying this is chalk. This could be, I don't know, it could be something else. It's just stuff. What else should we put on there? How about a little bit of, a little bit more of this brown, I think. Okay, I'm sort of just going to make a bit of a mess until I decide how to handle it. Yeah, I because of, I don't want to go on about it, but you know, if you've got a heart problem, chances are you're going to be on some kind of medication that really knocks the wind out of you. Literally knocks your socks off. All I wanted to do was sleep. And this year, sometime this year, I'm told, I'll have some kind of procedure, which should help. And to be honest, it can't come soon enough. Oh yeah, like this. That's going to look quite nice there, I think. And yeah, I'll try and do a little bit of pretend perspective in a minute. Well, actually it'll be real perspective. Don't go for that false stuff. Let's do a little bit of something in there. Let's have a little bit of that. I have to say, while I was in the hospital, it's actually quite a teaching experience too, because you can, if you've got something, you know, like a chronic illness, which is what I've got basically, you can actually slip into the poor me syndrome. Is it a syndrome? I don't know what it is, but anyway, it's something like that. Poor me state of mind. And I have to say, being in hospital, for me, made me realise, well, you know, it's not just me, and there are people far worse off. I won't go on about this too much. I just thought I'd like to say a few things. Like, I met a few people that were much worse off than me, and it tends to sober you up a bit. It makes you think less of yourself. In other words, I haven't been singled out for this condition. It's just the way it is. That's actually quite a nice bit of cloud, I think, considering very little brushwork on that. What else should we do? Compositionally, it probably needs that. A little bit of that there. I like that. It's nice. Yeah, if you're unwell, I suppose the thing to do is not to take it personally. And it's actually helped me come to terms with it quite well. Okay, right, now I'm going to do a little bit more on the land. I like the sky because it's quick and simple. What can we do to the land to actually make that have a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, it needs a bit more presence. And let's try and do it. So I'm going to be brutal, piece of paper, just push into what I've already got here. And see what it looks like. Who knows, eh? I think the more this looks like this, then the better the painting will be. The more intriguing. So let's do some serious intriguement. That's a new word. Actually, my wife and I were fooling around the other day, playing with words. I like inventing words. And she's actually much better at it than I am. She came out with some really quite interesting, clever words. And of course now I'm doing this, I can't remember what they are, but I'll try and use them in the next video. But I was really very impressed with these some of these words. I mean, I came out with a couple. And again, my mind's just gone totally blank. Okay, so what am I painting here? It's ending up looking like like a chalk pit. In England, I lived most of my life in the southeast of England, where there are a lot of chalk pits, and these go back to Neolithic times. People used to mine flint, get flint from chalk pits. You get a lot of chalk in chalk pits too. I'm not sure whether they did much with the chalk originally, but eventually, of course, chalk was used in the manufacture of cement. But yeah, these chalk pits are everywhere. It's very hard in Sussex to not come across a chalk pit. And I used to go to chalk pits when I was a kid and, well, teenager, because I used to like collecting fossils, and I used to climb these things. Some of them are ridiculously high. I did do some stupid things, but I survived that quite well, I suppose. Well, I'm still here. I did survive it, and but I was fascinated by them because the things you could find were quite fascinating. So there's a hint. There's a hint of a chalk pit in the distance. I don't want to do too much here. I will do a little bit more, but I want to get a feeling of perspective working over there. It's already starting. I mean, I can sort of encourage it quite easily. Just get a bit of light green, and I can use a bit of light green and just sort of put a few. Do you know what? I haven't checked today to see whether I'm in the way, but I think I'm out of the way. Okay, let's just put in some distancy stuff. Okay, how's that looking? Let's have a quick look in my camera. Oh, yes. I know, sorry, that sounds a bit like, oh, I'm wonderful. It's not meant to be that. It's just, I have to say, it's nice to be painting again. I always feel invigorated when I paint. So, what can I do over there to make it even more intriguing? I think, well, I've got some green in the sky here. Let's go back again, have another look over there. Okay. On the painting, it looks like there's a lot. On the video, it doesn't look as though there's much there. So I'm going to just sort of iron that a little bit. Think of it like a flat iron, you're ironing some clothes. Just sort of go back and forth a few times. There we go. Liking that. Same deal here. I just want to sort of push that around. You see, always remember when you're watching one of these videos that whatever I'm doing, you can do. And if you think you can't, think again. Because you can. Simple as that. Right, I just want a little bit of a bite here. A little bit of a sharp edge there. There. How does that look? Yep, distant chalk bit, like that, good. Now the sky, bear in mind, a brush has barely touched it. I put the sort of basic blue down there, but it's all done mostly with this. And you see here there's some sort of slightly hard edges maybe. Again, you don't have to use a brush, you can blur it a bit. But you can also get an effect just by doing this. See, you can smooth it down just by sort of pushing it around like that, carefully. Don't go mad. Well, go mad if you want. What you do in your private life is nothing to do with me. So, foreground, have I finished with the distance? Don't know. There, you just had a rare insight of how my brain works. Even I don't see that sometimes. Okay, now, here. I've got all kinds of textures on the painting just there. And it looks fine in the video, a little bit too something on the actual painting. I don't mind the odd bump, but you know, I don't want to sort of end up in Bump City. Let's just do something with some of them. There we go, that's quite nice. There we go. Now, what am I going to do? Is the landscape too simple? I think at the moment, possibly. But I don't want to overcomplicate. This brush has been hanging around for quite a while. It's got a bit of dry paint on it, but that doesn't matter. That actually might add to the interest. And all I'm going to do is just drag it across like so and see what happens. Now, you won't see a lot. Well, you might. You never know. I always tell people, if you want a feeling of wide open spaces, you've got to have some good flat horizontals. If your horizontals, particularly on a landscape, if they're too humpy, everything looks, I don't know, cartoony and too closed in. If you want a feeling of space, get some long sweepy shapes. It does work. So there's a long sweepy shape, and I think before I finish, which is going to be quite soon, as usual, no idea how long I've been painting, absolutely no idea, totally lose track. So a bit of sap green and red ochre. Not a small brush, I mean it's smaller than some of the brushes I use. This is 4 centimetres. Which in inches, 4 centimetres, for those who really need to know. 4 centimetres is just over 1.5 inches. I can only imagine if that helps you at all, I don't know. Now, foreground, simple foreground without complicating it up too much, because that would just ruin the effect that you've got. So I'm just going to sort of put shapes, but these shapes, there has to be a connection between them. If you just do one little island of these tree-like things and then another one and another one and another one, that's really, really not good. There has to be a connection from one to the other. If you don't do it, then it won't work. Simple as that. It will just look like well, I don't know, it'll look like something's wrong. Okay. I don't want to do, as I said, I don't want to do too much because I want to keep this on the edge of tonalism and abstract landscape. But then again, if you think about it, the way paintings are made, a lot of paintings are abstract, even realistic ones, because what you're doing is just joining a bunch of blobs. Do I like those there, little slightly surreal trees? Yeah. In a word, yeah, I do. Now, what else are we going to do? I've got some little contrasts here which are going to catch the eye. I could have something between us and the chalk pit that will also make the contrast trick work. You see, dark near light, quite like that. And then I think over here, before I get to the extreme distance in there, I think there should be some dark bits up there on the top of the hill, which fades into the sky without overdoing it. Oh, no, don't like that. Prefer that. Good. Excuse me, kicking things over. I do actually, I have a lesson coming up in a couple of days, which will have everyone that I had to cancel for my last class, because I was in hospital. I've got a class, on Saturday, beg your pardon, my mind wandered there as I'm looking at the camera. And then I've got a 2-day event. Not sure whether I'll do the 2-day event yet. We'll see how I feel in the next couple of days. But I think if I can, I'll do it. And if you're interested in coming to any lessons, just check below in the info box. And I'll keep you informed as to what's happening. I'm not sure what I'm doing there, but I think maybe something like that would be good. Okay. And also, if you have Facebook, I put adverts on Facebook when I know that I've got a class coming up, so that it'll give you a link to click on. What am I going to do there? I just want to sort of line. Every now and then, it's quite good to put a line in. As they say, well, this is corny. Ready? You've got to draw the line somewhere. So that's my line, and it's just made out. It's just obviously a palette knife with a little bit of sap green and a bit of red ochre in it. Really, that's it. Just a line. So I have one over there and a few bits. No idea what that is. Who knows? Let's have a few. Let's break these up just a touch. Don't know what they are. Very simple little landscape. Coming to the end soon. If you have lasted this long, I'd just like to say thank you for sticking with me. And if you have stayed this long, it could mean I guess, that you quite like what you're seeing. So if you do, please click the little subscribe button and the bell icon, and then you'll know when I put a video up again. Let's just numb that down a bit there, put a bit of that there. And yeah, share it as much as you can. Share it with your friends, share it on your Facebook page. Oh, and if you want to be a patron, I have a Patreon page. Usually concentrating there. Usually I give away 2 paintings a month. I've lapsed a bit recently because of my health, but I'll get back to that. If you're a patron and you pay a certain amount, you get a reduction in the cost of the class. But you also have a strong chance of acquiring a painting, and it really is free. The only thing that I ask is that you pay postage, and for that you can own a painting. There we go. That's looking quite interesting there. Okay, I think we're almost done. So we got a distant chalk pit, probably one that I used to jump around in when I was a kid. Who knows? These all come from somewhere in my mind, so perhaps I was at this one once. Actually, I'm going to push that over there. And there we go. I'm still not over happy with that bit. Don't know what it is. There's something about it. Let's just see what happens when we do this. You have to be a bit bold when you're doing this, by the way. There's no point being too careful. When you how can I put it? I've got to get a good straight line between there and the edge. Okay, if you do it too slowly and too carefully, it won't be straight. It'll be up and down all over the place. So sometimes you just got to just sort of do it. And if it goes up in the sky, leave it there. Who knows? Maybe there's a hill up there, and it's so far away that it's picking up the colour of the sky. And there we are, off into the distance. One more thing, and then I'm done. And that is with a little bit of white. And it's just a little thing I like to do occasionally on paintings. And that is to add a little bit of white contrast to the sky just behind the hill. Okay, that's going roughly in the right place. Just a little bit of contrast just behind the hill. I think that's it. I'm not even going to, or am I? Am I going to blur the sky just a touch? I know people like to see that. I think I might. I'm going to do the same thing over here with a bit of sky behind that hill. I know I got in the way then, I must have done. A little bit of that. Okay, bit of a dry brush. Another 40mm. You don't have to use a giant brush for this. This is just for a bit of blurring. And all I want to do is just that, a couple of times, a couple of sweeps, a couple of dabs. A little bit there. There we go. And I think that's it. So there we go. Hope you like it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you learnt something. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.